webinar today, our presentation for what's new with SolidWorks PDM. If you have questions, I'll be looking at them at the end, so feel free to type them out so that you can remember them, and I'll take a look at them at the end of the presentation. So SolidWorks PDM, what's new for 2016? A couple of different things. There's some themes for the SolidWorks PDM Professional 2016. So there's some focus areas for this new release. We're looking at a broader customer appeal. So just to give you a little background information, Enterprise PDM has had a new name change. So they've decided to rebrand Enterprise PDM to SolidWorks PDM Professional. It's not really going to change too much for those of you who already have Enterprise PDM installed and running at a 2015 or lower version year, but it definitely does have a different installation feel. It has a different name, obviously, SolidWorks PDM Professional. Now, why they've decided to go with SolidWorks PDM Professional for the name is because there's a new product that was released with 2016, which is called SolidWorks PDM Standard. So for those of you who might use Workgroup PDM or have looked into Workgroup PDM, the SolidWorks PDM Standard product released with 2016 is essentially going to replace Workgroup PDM. So we're trying to get a broader customer appeal, trying to assist with individuals who want to continue to have a PDM system in place, but moving forward it'll be using the SolidWorks PDM Standard version instead of Workgroup PDM. Some other additional appealing focus areas are going to be a PDF file plugin, as well as Acrobat Reader support for the preview, which was also available in 2015. We also have some improved user experience interfaces, such as being able to set revisions for documents instead of having to rely on a legacy file workflow, using automatic transitions, trying to detect the revision and then automatically force the system to update using a series of quite complex workflows. Now we have the ability to set the revision as we check in those files, bump up the revision accordingly. We also have expanded the sortable columns support, so not only can you sort columns in your local vault view, you'll be able to sort columns in a multitude of different places. We'll look at that. Move and rename warnings in SolidWorks, being able to move files or rename files within SolidWorks and having those references remain intact and having that warning show up. And then resizable thumbnail previews, some Webto enhancements, and we'll take a look at indexing as well. Some other areas for focus, we're always looking for system and performance improvements. So for the SolidWorks Installation Manager, there was an integration so that you don't have a separate installation package, and then also general performance improvements. So let's take a look at the name change again. The SolidWorks Enterprise PDM is now being called SolidWorks PDM Professional. So no longer is it EPDM, it's SolidWorks PDM Professional. Product line consistency, good, better, best. So basically it goes along with the other products that are available with SolidWorks, such as SolidWorks Standard, SolidWorks Professional, SolidWorks Premium, Simulation, Professional, Premium, etc. It fits with the new SolidWorks PDM Standard product, and the Enterprise sometimes can scare off customers, over promises for other customers, and we also have the same license names. So the SolidWorks PDM Professional or SolidWorks PDM Standard, same license is being used for the naming structure of those. So CAD Editor, Contributor, and Viewer Pack, along with the Processor Site License, the PSL, it now has the same license names. It's not separate. So SolidWorks PDM Standard, who is it going to be? Who's it going to be for? So small workgroup PDM implementations, single-site SolidWorks customers that currently aren't using a PDM system. The main need for those who are looking at, should I start utilizing PDM Standard or should I look at PDM Professional? For Standard PDM, you're really only looking to manage SolidWorks or draft site files. So what is it? It's a new product offer based on SolidWorks Enterprise PDM, now called PDM Professional. It's currently included with the SolidWorks Professional and SolidWorks Premium seats. So if you have SolidWorks Standard, you don't have access to PDM Standard. If you have SolidWorks Professional or SolidWorks Premium, you do have access to PDM Standard, just like with Workgroup PDM before. It's the same Windows Explorer interface that you might have seen with previous ePDM. It has the same database structure, but now it's running on SQL Server Express. So there are some limitations going back to who should be interested in utilizing PDM Standard. Really no more than 10 users to access. There's also a database size restriction as well because it's using SQL Server Express. And the Express install is going to be available and is currently available through the SolidWorks Installation Manager to include the archive and database servers as well as the SQL Server Express. It's really easy to upgrade to PDM Professional. There's no migration required now, whereas with Workgroup PDM to Enterprise PDM migration was required. So it makes it a lot easier when you decide that it's time to go from PDM Standard to PDM Professional. And it's a viable replacement for Workgroup PDM, which will no longer be available come the 2018 release of SolidWorks. So if you currently have Workgroup PDM, you can upgrade to SolidWorks 2016, take a look, start doing some testing with the SolidWorks PDM Standard software so that you can be prepared for the Workgroup PDM being removed from the software in 2018. Some customer benefits: it's a robust data management capability with an easy upgrade path. Like I said, no migration. There's a low learning curve. If you know how to right-click on files inside of Windows Explorer, it's going to be very easy to learn how to use. There's a low cost of entry, and there's a streamlined design process for your SolidWorks and draft site files. There's a broader customer appeal. Now that we're switching over to this section, let's take a look at the PDF file plugin. Keep in mind this is only available for PDM Professional. Now that there's two PDM Professional and PDM Standard products, some of the items are going to be available only in PDM Professional, and I'll make mention of those. So with the PDM Professional version, there is a PDF file plugin. You're able to read, write, and display SolidWorks PDM data card information directly to or from PDF files that wasn't available in previous releases. It displays the property information in a form field, and it's a better support of customer workflows and document approvals. There have been many, many times where customers that I've worked with have asked for the ability to read properties and push and pull information for PDF files, and now with the 2016 release of PDM Professional, that's available. There's also some Acrobat reader support in the preview for PDM Professional only as well, whereas before that wasn't quite available. So the Acrobat reader is now supported in the Windows Explorer preview tab, and it enables better viewing experience of PDF files, enables viewing of 3D PDFs for better SolidWorks MVD support as well. For the set revision, so we're moving over to the improved user experience. Previously, as I mentioned, you either had to bump up the revision through the workflow, or if you were importing or migrating files over from a different system or from a network storage drive, you would have to set up some sort of custom written code or have some sort of legacy file import workflow created to increment the revision properly within the database tables. And now we have the ability in 2016 PDM Professional to set revision. So increment revision has been improved and it's been renamed to set revision. It allows for the updating of the revision variable along with the revision counter. That's that database table portion of it. And it's better support for legacy and imported data. So as you can see, as you check in files, you can manually set the next revision with a drop-down per file, or you can set it up to automatically detect if you have that revision information stored within the file. You can have it automatically detect the revision information from the custom properties of that file and set it to whatever's in the file property, which was transferred into the data card. So much better support for legacy and imported data migrations. There's also the expanded sortable columns support. So we now have the ability to sort columns in the Contains tab, the Where Used tab, checked out, checked in dialog boxes, change state dialog boxes, the copy tree, move tree interface, and the Git interface as well. So let me go ahead and jump on into my local vault view that I've got here. And I've got 2016 SP0, Service Pack 0 installed for PDM Professional. And essentially what they're talking about is inside, for example, this Contains tab. If I look at this drawing, previously you weren't able to really sort by these different items, such as version or potentially configuration name. And now we have the ability to sort those columns, as you can see in the Where Used and Contains tab, as well as when we check out a file, the checkout dialog box. So maybe we want to sort by warnings, which is a great feature. I've been asked about this many, many times, where if there's a warning, can't we sort by that so we can see all the warnings at the top of the interface instead of having to search through hundreds of lines of information. So that's a great new feature that they've added in PDM Professional with this 2016 release. Also, let me go ahead and check out this file real quick. Check out a few of these files. And during the check-in dialog box, we have that ability as well. Okay, so pretty straightforward ability to sort based on these columns. It's no longer necessarily based on the assigned references there. So pretty awesome new features available that are going to hopefully save you time as you move forward with the PDM Professional 2016 upgrades. Let's go back over here. So some additional improved user experiences. So the move and rename warning in SolidWorks. So SolidWorks users will now receive a warning to let them know if a referenced file has been renamed or moved by another user. So as you can see here, the following files have been moved or renamed in SolidWorks PDM and now require the references file folder locations to be updated. To update the references, close and reopen the file in the session, and it gives a list of the affected files. So this is going to help prevent out-of-date references from being used excuse me, for files that are being managed and modified inside of SolidWorks. We also have some rename components in the SolidWorks Feature Manager for SolidWorks PDM support. So when a file is renamed in the SolidWorks feature tree, that's the feature tree in the left-hand side of SolidWorks. SolidWorks PDM verifies that the file is checked out, verifies that the user has rights to make those changes, and it will warn of rename and repoints to renamed files on reopen. So if you do not have permissions, or if the file is not checked out, it's going to give you a pop-up saying that the action can't be completed because you don't have sufficient permissions, or the file needs to be checked out. Ensure that you have necessary folder and state permissions. And then it's also going to give you this little warning: files have been moved or renamed in SolidWorks PDM and now require that the referenced file location be updated. So nice little visual cues that let you know when files have been renamed or moved, and then also being able to rename files inside of SolidWorks is a nice new feature as well. Quick info icon control. Previously you didn't really have an option on the quick info icon selection inside of SolidWorks. So now with SolidWorks PDM Professional 2016, there's a user control. Users can control which status icons are displayed. So there's a little checkbox on the left-hand side now that allows you to either keep all of the different icons or suppress them for unnecessary icons that you don't use. There's also some resizable thumbnail previews. So as our monitors are getting larger and larger, we might need to have thumbnail previews that get larger and larger as well. So thumbnail previews can be resized to show more or less details, and it helps the users better understand file contents as well. So let's take a look at that real quick. Inside of maybe my bill of materials for this control box drawing, as I hover over each one of these different files, you can see I've got a preview that pops up. If I right click, now I have the ability to change the thumbnail preview size. Maybe I want to change it to large, and as you can see it got a bit larger there. Maybe I want to change this down to small. As you can see, it's quite a bit smaller, less detail, less information. So by default, it will be on a medium setting, but if you would like, you can change that by simply right-clicking, hovering over change thumbnail preview size, and then choosing the size that best fits your needs. So pretty straightforward, pretty easy to set that. Some additional PDM Professional user experience Webto functionality here. So this is for the web portion or web access to the vault using the Webto interface. Transition authentication can now be applied. So when users change state using the Webto functionality, if there's an authentication selected that requires them to put in their password before they can change state, it's shown inside of the Webto interface as well. So you will have to put in a password before you can change state on files in the vault using the web application. It also will respect mandatory transition comments where previously that wasn't upheld in the web interface, and then localization support as well. Content searching without using Windows Indexing Service. Now this is available for the PDM Professional version only, and it's only available for 2016 Service Pack 0 and above. So for those of you who want the ability to search for bits and pieces of information or strings of words inside of documents, this is not the data card, this is index searching, content searching, so that you can find information within the Word document, within the Excel document, within the PDF, etc. Windows actually took out the indexing service for the server version of the OS for Windows and indexing service. So now we have to utilize the Windows search service. So they took it out, the excuse me, Windows indexing service for Server 2012, and they replaced it with this Windows search service for the operating system. So Moving forward, for Server 2012 OS and PDM Professional 2016, you'll want to use the Windows search functionality instead of the indexing service. Pardon me for just 1 second. Pardon me, had to get a drink of water there. System and performance improvement. So SolidWorks Installation Manager integration. Now, the SolidWorks PDM products will be available inside of the SolidWorks Installation Manager interface. Previously, it was a separate installation package that you would have to download and a second installation setup that you would have to run through. So it eases the deployment of PDM clients by having the ability to include the SolidWorks product with the PDM product together for the clients. So it makes it a lot more streamlined. And then general performance improvements. These are results that are based on test environments, and individual results may be different. But Get Tree in very large vaults is approximately 40% faster. The SolidWorks add-in has faster tree updates, 3 times faster file open time with PDM Professional and PDM Standard. Search, launch integrated search, 5 times faster. OK or cancel of checkout, check-in, change state dialog boxes on search results used to take minutes, now it takes an instant. And then dedicated search tool launch, menu display, and favorites are 20 times faster as well. Destroy folders used to take a little bit of time, so now it's about 20 to 30 times faster. And then the file version update tool, display broken references, happens 12 times faster, which is phenomenal. Additional general performance improvements. Again, keep in mind results are based on test environments and individual results may be different. Notifications are processed approximately 400 times faster. Check-in with lots of different configurations. They've improved that. It's 180 times faster. And then change state with lots of set variable actions is 2 to 4 times faster. And the API interface, get state of file, is 3 times faster. So as you can see, there's been a lot of different improvements to SolidWorks Enterprise PDM, now being called SolidWorks PDM Professional. We've got some new changes with the additional PDM Standard that's available with the 2016 release. And with Workgroup PDM going to be removed from the products that are being offered with SolidWorks 2018 release, I highly recommend, if you have Workgroup PDM, take a look at SolidWorks PDM Standard so that you can get a better understanding of what you will be potentially moving towards in a year or two. So at this point, thank you very much for watching our presentation. If there are any questions, I'm going to take a look now and see if I can provide any additional information for questions that you may have about the new release and what's new with PDM Professional 2016.
All right, thanks, Catherine. That was a great presentation. Now's the time to get all your questions answered. All right, we'll wait here a couple minutes and see if any questions come through. Joseph's asking, they're having an issue getting PDM Standard set up as a new install. Are you available for consult in helping get this set up?
I would recommend contacting the support queue. So if you are a customer of TriMech or Modern Tech, If you could email in support@trimec.com, and someone from our support group will definitely be available to assist you with getting PDM Standard set up. There have been some changes to the installation procedure, so it's definitely understandable that some of these picks and clicks for the installation are going to be a little bit different. So feel free to contact either your local value-added reseller for support, or if you are a Trimec Modern Tech customer, feel free to go ahead and email into our support queue and we'll be able to help you out.
And Mark is wondering, did you say there was a 10-person limit on PDM Standard? And any idea what the max database size limit is?
Yeah, I have to remember the max database size limit is something along the lines of 10 gigs. I can definitely get that information and email it to you, Mark. Let's see. Yes, and there is a 10-person limit on PDM Standard. It's not so much a limit as you can only have 10 people accessing it, but you'll see a drop in performance if you start getting above 10 people. So roughly 10-person maximum for the best performance with PDM Standard. You can have more users, but you will start seeing performance issues.
Mark saying, well, that's nothing. We are WPDM with over 120 gigabytes.
Yeah, I'm going to have to double check on that SQL Express database table limit, and I'll get back to you. I think we have your contact information, Mark.
Yeah, we do. I can also get that to you, not a problem. Nelson is saying he came in late, and he just wants to know where to go for the web link. Oh, we'll get that emailed out to you, and also you can find this recording on our website later on this week. No worries, we'll get that to you. And you're very welcome, Mark. All right, any other questions out there? All right, looks like Guillermo has a question. He is wondering, how is the migration from WPDM 2015 to PDM Standard 2016?
That's a loaded question. Mostly I say that because with Workgroup PDM, if you have been using Workgroup PDM for a very long time and you've set up multiple different revisions, multiple different life cycles, and you've changed them over the years, the migration might be a little bit more difficult for you than for someone who's been consistent with their revision schemes and their life cycles. It also depends on the metadata or the information that you're storing within your files, how clean that is. It depends on if you want to try and migrate on your own. So in other words, copy paste the information from one to another, or if you want to utilize some of the services that either your local value-added reseller can provide or the tools that SolidWorks is going to provide. Now currently with PDM Standard 2016, they have not released an official version of a migration tool. I know that they are currently working internally on getting a very robust migration tool to go from Workgroup PDM to PDM Standard, but that has not been officially released yet. So if you are one of the TriMech Modern Tech customers, then we definitely will be able to provide some tips and tricks or some services if you want us to assist with the migration from Workgroup to PDM Standard. So feel free to reach out to your local value-added reseller, or if you're our customer, go ahead and reach out to us as well to get that information. Otherwise, it really requires a discussion to find out what's going to be necessary for your own particular migration. Good questions.
Right? Okay, are there any other questions out there? I'll wait here another minute. See if any more come through. All right, it doesn't look like there's any other questions. I just want to thank you all again for joining us this afternoon, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.